good to start. Thank you again for coming through to the My Mike and I podcast. Really appreciate you.
Hell yeah, appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah. So a lot has changed, I think, Phil, since the first time we did this last summer, right?
Was it last summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like July, maybe August.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Biggest thing I think for me, at least, one most memorable change was the screening of the I'm trying to blank on it, the Bank for Change documentary, That Farron Kid. I know you've seen it a few times, right, at the different screenings and stuff. But overall, what were some of your takeaways from after watching that documentary?
I think for me overall the biggest takeaway was probably how important it is to just kind of follow your heart and go with your gut. You know, it's like Farron just out the blue said, "Fuck it, I'm out there." You know, like when in the midst of everything, like everything was so fresh. And now look what it's created. You know, it's creating a whole bigger movement for him. So that's like the biggest takeaway in terms of like the way like the way things played out. But obviously, you know, the whole everything that sadly happened. I think the biggest takeaway is also seeing how powerful community is.
Right.
Like you know, he's doing bigger things now. I think he's on his way to Minneapolis at the end of this month.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you know, like you can just see how much power we have when we all come together. Yeah.
Power of social media too, you know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know Farron Kid before, like COVID and everything, before George Floyd.
Okay.
And just so quickly within a year, you know, you start seeing him on social media. He starts speaking at different events that I'm at. And then next thing you know, one thing after another, and boom, now he's here, you know? But it's cool to see somebody from the community. I know someone that you worked with a lot too.
Yeah. To
do what he's doing and kind of put on for the community like this, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I said, when I first met him, I already knew like this man he's on to bigger things, you know, because he's always he speaks so confident. He's always got a dope vision, and it's like you already knew whatever he was set to do, he's gonna do it. So, and now to see him, it's like I'm happy for him, man. I'm proud. Yeah, it's dope.
So I believe last time it was either right before or right after you dropped your EP, The Perspectives, right?
Yeah, I think it was before.
Before?
I think so.
So how, I guess, what were your expectations for that project, and how did they live up to them?
I kind of expected a lot more.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's still doing well. You know, the objective was for me to put these stories from my life to try and relate them to everybody, and so far I feel like it's done a good job because I've gotten at least like messages for at least every song where it's like, dang, like it's almost like you spoke about me and this shit, you know. So off the EP, the biggest song was Fighting Demons. Yeah. And I think it's just because it's more like it's more like a banging beat, and it's like it's more relatable to everybody, you know. The other ones were more how can I say it, like more personal. So it's like it was more spot on for me than it would be for a lot of other people, you know. But overall I think it did well. It did well, but I did expect more. I don't know if it's maybe like the way I'm trying to market it or promote it. Yeah. That's kind of, you know, where I'm fucking up, but other than that, it did well.
Yeah. Those are tricky, you know, you gotta like really tinker with it. Yeah. I feel like there's no solid set formula for everybody.
Exactly.
So you kind of toy around with different strategies, you know?
Yeah. And then the thing is too is like, I feel, me personally, now that I've grown more from that, it's like I feel like EPs or albums not really the way to go right now. Like, at least for me personally, you know, it's not working for me. Because it's like, people aren't listening to the whole thing. Yeah. It's like they'll hear one song they like and they'll be playing that shit and they'll be like listen to other ones, kind of skip through them or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And it's like, nah, man, you know? Yeah. And it's like even the way I ordered the EP, the songs, it's like, it's kind of like a meaning to it. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely tough right now, especially like in the more like casual hip hop fan. Yeah. You know, they're not really listening to the projects like they used to be. And that's why all the projects now are shorter. Yeah. I feel like at every level, you know? It's very, like, you know, obviously, like, the top artists, like J. Cole, Kendrick, and those guys, they could, you know, do whatever, and people will listen all the way through, but it's kind of just, like, really that's it for most people, and everyone else is just looking for singles.
Even Cole's newest album. Yeah. I seen some tracks, like, under 2 minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and, like, Cole was never making a song before that.
Like, that's not, like, that's not what hip-hop's known for, you know? Right. But it's like, you gotta adapt. Yeah. In a way, he adapted, but at the same time, he kept that shit, like, hip-hop.
Exactly. So, he still kept it himself too, you know?
Exactly.
Because I like how he dabbles around a little bit. Like he uses some autotune here, or he go like little trap style there, but he still like brings it back to like what his style is. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. The album was dope though. I fucked with it.
Yeah, the off season.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy how like the whole like the marketing around it, because didn't drop anything, and then I think because he's not really like an active social media person.
Yeah.
And so like for a while he was in the dark. Then he like tweets something, and then he tweets another thing about the promotion for the song, and then he like drops a video for a song, and then like we know that the week that the album comes out, he's also gonna play in his first basketball game.
Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, like what? Like he just did all this all at once, you know?
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
Yeah, I seen that. He's playing basketball in somewhere overseas, right?
Yeah, and they didn't say what country. They just said it was like African basketball league.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's why I heard African basketball league.
Yeah, but that's pretty tight. I mean, like not a lot of people could do that.
No, yeah.
You know, and I know he's been in like those NBA celebrity games before.
Yeah.
And he'll ball out in those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he can ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can.
So it'll be interesting to see his little journey with that, and then how much that I don't know even like takes away. I mean, obviously he's like one of the people who spaces out his projects a lot. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on that Kendrick.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what I'm waiting for, man.
Yeah, I know. Like TDE around the same time, they dropped that little teaser video where it was like the loading.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. It was like loading and it said 100% complete.
Yep.
So I know some of these projects coming. I might be Isaiah Rashad because he had that single that came out, but yeah, we'll see.
He's dope too, man, Rashad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like the whole like TDE, Dreamville, like those cats, they start to go up more, you know, because they're on some hip hop shit. Like that's like real. You could tell they're passionate about their craft, you know, and like they put all the effort that they can into it, so it's like they deserve that spotlight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely like I feel like both those labels are doing a good job of getting like authentic artists. You know what I mean? Not a lot of copycat artists. And like you said, the hip hop people on their labels like fucking go hard. Like I really like Earth Gang lately too.
Earth Gang.
Yeah, they're on Dreamville.
I haven't heard of it.
No. They're from Atlanta, but they got a weird sound to them, man.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of experimental sounds and stuff. Kind of reminds me of like I guess like people have said like a modern day Outkast.
Outkast?
Like in the beginning when they first came up. So check them out, you know.
Yeah, I'll definitely check them out.
Yeah.
Because Outkast is dope. So if they're reminding them of Outkast, it's like that's a huge comparison.
Right?
Yeah.
So going back to your music, I know you had a single in these times that was your most recent drop, correct?
Yeah.
How did the idea come out for that one?
It was more so like almost like a Cultura Part 2 type of thing, but I kept it more modern. Like I wanted to talk more about what's really going on right now, even though it's been going on and it's gonna continue to go on, you know. Yeah. And then I also wanted to talk about how like our flaws, you know, as a community. So not so much of like playing a victim or like pulling the victim card, but also like acknowledging that we fuck up too, you know. So I felt like it was an important song because of that, you know. A lot of people like to talk shit and say like, even our own raza, you know, they'll be like, oh, like don't pull a victim card. It's not a victim card, you know. It's more like just accepting reality, but we also have to accept reality that like there's a lot of things that we do within our own community that are destroying us too, you know. So I felt like it was important to make that song, and I kept it. I wanted Frosty to keep it positive on the hook, and you know she did a good job with that. She really killed that shit. Shout out to Frosty. And so it's like the hook is something that like people can feel and everybody will want to like sing together type of thing, you know, like you know, seen so much and we've been through hell, like it's just, you know, you feel that shit. Yeah. So that was my objective with it, was just to have it be like a feel good song, and not necessarily just for raza, you know. Obviously I'm Mexican American, so like that's my go-to, but I feel like anybody who comes for like the similar communities will relate to that shit regardless.
100%. You know, a lot of immigrants, not even just from Mexico, from everywhere, you know, kind of going through similar experiences.
All Latins, you know.
Yeah. That's crazy. The first time I heard that song, it really, you know how we all listen to music for a feeling? Yeah. You know? That song probably gave me like a top 5 feeling, like out of any other song that I listened to. Oh shit! Because it really feels like an anthem song, you know. Yeah. And I think, like you said, with the Frosty and the hook, even the part where it's like, you know, shit pops off with the cops. Yeah. Look out for the cops because it won't end well. Yeah. Yeah. Leaning on each other because the people will prevail. I don't know. Just the hook. what you're saying in the each verse, it just like resonated.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, you made it for the people of the community, and it just resonated so well. Man, I don't know. I just want to thank you again for making that song. But dude, that was like a game changer, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what a lot of people hit me up about, and they're like, "Hey, bro, like that sounds like some radio shit."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, you know, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because it's like, even then, that's not really like what I'm headed for. To me, is like what you just told me. Like that's what I love to hear. You know, from people from my community. It's like they fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
And they appreciate that shit. That's the ultimate goal to me.
100%. Yeah.
So, you know, it's just. It makes me happy to know that like what I'm headed for, or, like the goals that I'm trying to accomplish, like they're being accomplished, or little things that I set myself out for, like is being appreciated. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I can see you too, like performing that song, especially like somewhere in Santa Ana or just like a local spot, you know?
Yeah.
And that just like, you know, popping off and everyone kind of like hearing that, feeling the lyrics and everything.
Oh no, yeah, we did at Proof Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was man, when was the show? It was sometime in, I want to say March. I don't know if it was March or in April, but yeah, I hit her up because they hit me up to do the show, and I hit her up to do the hook with me, and yeah, that shit went crazy.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, like everybody had like their hands up and shit. You know, it was just one of those like feel good, I guess, songs to them at the time. So so now I'm always trying to incorporate that in my lineups now. Just close it out with that.
Yeah.
I did this song at the Day of Unity as well.
Okay.
And Frosty couldn't make it, but still, like, people were fucking with that shit so heavy.
100%.
I recently got hit up by like 2 people. They were like, they didn't even ask me to come like do a set. They're like, hey, is there any way we can get you and Frosty to come out here and like perform in these times and this and that? I'm like, what the fuck? That's just crazy. Yeah.
Damn, that's tight. Like, from out of the area?
Yeah, from out the area.
Okay.
And then the most recent one was from Santa Ana. They do the Friday Night Munchies. I don't know if you heard of that.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, the guy who like kind of like runs that, he hit me up. And he's like, hey, like I want to get you and Frosty, because they're bringing Friday Night Munchies back. I guess it had been done because of COVID or whatever. And they're bringing it back. And he's like, oh, for the first one, I want you and Frosty to come out and perform in these times and this and that. I was like, hell yeah,
dude,
we're there.
What's up?
Yeah. So I know that song, you know, is gonna catch a buzz bigger than what it already is. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's good for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think another thing too, I'll say with that song is just like you said too. We didn't play the victim role. I think it was the third verse where you kind of, I don't know if it's third or second, but the one where you mentioned the line about like you won't stick your neck out unless it's covered up in jewelry.
Yeah,
there's more to life than spending money stupidly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like like it was. It talks about the harm that we do to our own community, right, and the fact that we can't, like, we're not unified. Yeah. You know, I think it's real because like sometimes you gotta call people, not like call people out, but just acknowledge that. And you know, I think people at the end of the day do want better for the community. They do want better for themselves, their friends, their homies, their family. But it's just about like learning how to do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and like with that, so like what you said, like you won't stick your neck out unless it's covered up in jewelry. It's like you won't put your own neck on the line for somebody else in the community, you know? Like you see some shit going on that's foul and you probably just stay quiet. But it's like when you got all this shit, you want to flaunt it, you want to be out there, and it's like, man, like, you know, you should be down with your community whether you got it or you don't got it.
Right.
Because that's just what counts and what matters.
Yeah. And we saw last year in 2020, obviously, like a lot of stuff shut down and there was like a lot of different protests and stuff. But I felt like it spoke volumes. You know, I get, you know, people didn't want to go out for certain reasons, so I don't want to like hold them accountable for that either. But there was a lot of artists, a lot of just local members of the community, whether store owners or people like Fair and Kid and their own like small businesses and stuff. Just kind of, even Jonathan Hernandez, you know, council person. Being like involved in these protests or involved in these different you know, rallies that were going on, and they're going hard for the community, you know. So that's
what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's gonna have our back as much as we got our backs. So it's important for us to be there for each other. Yeah.
And then I think the last part was that Frosty's hooks, like, you can keep your diamonds, you can keep your wealth. You know, people just want to live well. It's like, man, it's fucking vibe, bro.
Yeah, like that's what it is. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Like the ultimate goal is not, like, I'm sure Frosty thinks the same. Like, we're not trying to get rich off of it. If the song, you know, pops or whatever, that's cool. But it's better for us that more people hear it, because then they're gonna feel it and they're gonna understand what's being said. It's more important that they hear what we're trying to say. You know, it's like fuck all that glamours and glitz, you know, like we're just trying to put our people on, live better,
And you mentioned it earlier too, like someone said that it's sounded like a radio song, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of big too, because a lot of people do make music that's like conscious and very uplifting and, you know, supposed to better the community, but it just, for whatever, it doesn't really sound like something catchy that you'd hear on the radio. And people are really like stuck on that radio sound or just whatever's popular.
Yep.
And you gotta kind of find that perfect blend, you know, like that poppy sound, but like the real lyrics, classic, you know?
Yeah, because the hook, you know, is catchy. The hook is catchy. Like, it's harder not to play that song, and then if you've heard it repeatedly, it's hard to not sing along with her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you hear it enough to know the lyrics, that's cool, but the hook is like, that's just so catchy, bro. Like, you hear that shit repeatedly, you're just bound to sing along.
Yep. Singing from her chest, you know? Like, you can hear the passion in her voice.
Yep.
100%.
Exactly.
So what else you got coming out?
I just dropped a corrido, bro.
A corrido?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but what I did with it was I kind of like did a blend of hip hop and corridos. So the hook is all Spanish. The sound is corrido as fuck, but I worked with Cricket Productions, and I don't know if you heard of Awkward. They were like a Chicano rap group, and they did like Spanish music, but their sound was like banda incorporated with hip hop.
Oh, okay.
So like you would hear the tuba, you would hear a lot of like the trumpets and like their drum sounds, like, but he would like flip it and like make it sound like hip hop. Like, I don't know, bro, it was just so fucking dope.
Yeah.
And they blew up off that shit, and then now he's kind of doing like the similar shit, but instead of banda sound, well, he still kind of does that, but he's incorporating a lot of like the newer corrido sounds. So like 12-string guitars, still the tuba, you know, bajo loche, the bass, and all that shit. And then he's throwing like 808s in there and doing like shit like that. So we put together a dope song, and I had the homie Kevin he's from a group called Kevin Saldaña, and he hopped on the hook, and it sounds like so like he does already corrido music.
Yeah. So
like it just sounds so like authentic, so raw, like corrido shit. And then the first verse I actually did it in Spanish, like but like kind of singing, you know, not like singing, but more like a corrido sound. And then my second verse is in English. So like I kind of put like, I mixed the best of both worlds, you know?
Okay.
It sounds dope, you know, a lot of feedback has been dope as fuck, so I'm happy about that.
You got range.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be shooting a video to that soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then right now, I'm actually working on another video too, to some unreleased track.
Okay.
That I did with the boy Darren.
Okay.
So I got that coming out. I think basically what you guys are gonna see from me, like, more so like going on, is singles.
More singles. Okay.
Yeah. Just so I feel like it gets the proper
appreciation,
attention, and appreciation. So the song that I'm shooting a video for right now, I was putting that on an album, and In These Times is gonna go on an album too.
Okay.
But I was like, nah, like people need to hear this song and solely this song and just fucking push the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And luckily it's doing good, you know, it's doing better.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I would have put it in an album, like not a lot of people would have caught to it or gravitated towards it. Even though I would have still shot a video for it and I would have still pushed it the same way I am, you know, but still it's just, I feel like it's different. Yeah. When you do it like that.
And like you could always put it still on another album in the future and kind of like that brings people into the album because they know that song already, you know?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, you know, a little prequel, I guess you could say.
That's what I did with I Could Never. My that was like one of my first, I guess you could say, songs that kind of like got a lot of attention. That's what I did with that one. When I saw like the buzz it was getting, I was like, oh shit, like people are fucking with it. So I threw it on the album that I was gonna drop. Yeah. Cause then exactly, still gravitated more listeners. So I was like, cool.
Right on. Now I believe there was, during the screening for The Bank for Change, the documentary by Farron Kid, you guys got to do a performance with Mosaic on that stage. Was that the song that you guys did together, was that one the one that made the documentary too?
Yeah, that one's on the documentary. Then I have one that I did with Joe, his producer.
Okay.
Joe. Yeah.
So how did that feel to have like your own like song or something that you worked on like into like a movie or a documentary?
That was crazy, bro. Yeah. That was stupid crazy. Cause it's like it goes back to what I said earlier. You know, like the ultimate goal is getting people to really like listen to what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it couldn't have been placed in a better spot than that. You know, cause that's about community. That's about bringing people together. So obviously, I know what the music that I'm making is working because it's like, you know, Farron picked that to be in the soundtrack. So again, it's a super dope feeling, especially when he had that screening recently at Frida Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to go there as a kid with my grandma, bro.
Yeah.
And like now it's like I'm going here and like fucking seeing Farron shit and my music's there and it's like damn, it's so dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a dope feeling.
And that's one thing I really liked about the documentary too is, you know, Orange County still I feel like lesser known of. You know, it's like a sub part of LA, but the fact that he was able to create it as someone from Orange County and then also put a lot of Orange County artists on there.
Yeah.
A lot of the lyrics and like a lot of the song choice that he had were very like, you know, on par or on theme with the documentary itself.
Yep.
It was just like well put together, you know, and I think this is something that could be really good for the community, you know.
Oh yeah.
So no just keep growing as more and more, you know, people watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll shine more light over here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost like we're in the shadows, so it's like shit like this is what, you know, brings attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So expect a little like fan base probably in Minneapolis after he goes out there, huh?
Yeah.
They hear the music and stuff, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be tight. Don't know there's more to Orange County than just Disneyland and shit.
For real, huh? And the beaches and all the blonde girls and shit over there on TV, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So now that COVID, I don't want to say it's over because obviously there's still people, respectfully, you know, getting sick. There's still people getting hurt and, you know, passing from it. But obviously the restrictions have eased up a lot. You know, vaccines have been rolling out and everything. It seems like we're in a different time than when we first recorded. But I guess has there been a big change for you in your everyday routine outside of music since last time we recorded?
I want to say in my everyday routine, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I guess just adding now the fact that you can go out to like bars and shit like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing's really changed. Luckily, like, cause I work with my dad and we do like construction and shit like that. Luckily, like that was like considered essential, you know, cause obviously people, especially during that time, cause it was like everybody was home.
Yeah.
So if something was fucking up at home, and they were using shit more often, so it's like shit was fucking up more.
Right.
So especially in that time, it's like they really needed people like us to go out there and do shit. So. Shit never really stopped, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it just kept the ball rolling. Where I noticed that more was in the music now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of like my everyday life routine, it kind of feels the same.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the cool like transition, you know, like because we were so locked up for a while, but there's other people who were, like you said, essential that just kind of got to still, they were in it, you know, they were in the mix, I guess you could say, and like, I don't know, a lot of people came out okay too for me, you know?
Yeah.
And they were able to still like stay afloat.
Yeah.
Say, you know?
No, but yeah, other than that, like obviously like weekends were kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because it's like you couldn't go out and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just stay home. If you wanted to drink, get fucked up at home or whatever it was. You know, but now it's like you can go out to a bar.
Yeah.
You can go catch a drink. You know?
Yeah.
So I guess that shit it plays a big difference too.
Okay.
Going to the movies, bro. I'm a big theater person.
Are you?
So
okay.
Yeah. But even now, it's like you go to the movies and you gotta have your mask on and shit. It's like, man,
mm-hmm.
I understand it, but it's like I don't know. I'd rather just stay at home if I'm gonna do that. Watch a movie at home.
You can still watch it, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we did recently though, with some homies.
Yeah.
We what's the theater right here? It's like right here, Century.
It's the Century. Yeah.
We went there, and it was like $150 to rent the whole theater. There was
shit, okay.
Yeah, and there was like 10 of us.
Okay.
You know, so like $15 each.
Yeah.
And we had the whole theater to ourselves.
That's nice.
We didn't have to wear a mask or nothing, you know.
Okay. You guys still get like food and stuff there or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can still get snacks and all that shit.
All right, cool.
So it was pretty cool, man. I was like, I wouldn't mind watching a movie like that, you know?
Yeah.
Especially as like people you know in there.
Right.
You know, bullshitting, being loud and shit.
Throwing shit at each other.
Yeah. Just fucking around. So
yeah.
that was cool. Okay.
I think I miss movies too, especially like those new theaters that put the reclining seats.
Yeah.
I was just really starting to get into those, and like those were really comfy. You know, you could just like lean back a little bit. And you're just like, ooh, like there was a few movies that were like boring because you know, I would go with some friends and I didn't really want to see that movie, but I was just like, fuck, I'll just go for the time. And, you know, I'd fall asleep, but because it was so comfy, you know? Not that I was, like, not into the movie, but it was just because it was, like, man.
It's just so comfortable, yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like almost every theater's starting to do that now, too, though.
Yeah. It's like the new wave.
Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. And selling alcohol, too.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, too, I miss is, like, the going to sports games.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a chance to go to a few baseball games this year already, and, like, that was something I missed from last year.
Yeah. You know, that's something I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go to I would always say, like, once I'm 21, I'll go to Angels game, have some beers and shit.
Yeah.
And I turned 21 during COVID, so it was like, I couldn't do shit.
Right. It's tough.
But now, I think we're trying to go to a game it's in June or July, I don't remember.
Okay.
We're trying to catch a game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. It's like, you know, you don't even have to be a big baseball fan, but it provides such a cool little ambiance. You know, it's not like, I feel like football, basketball is faster paced, so you kind of do want to pay attention more. Yeah. Baseball's a little bit more slow, so you can kind of just like chat, bullshit with your friends in between, you know?
Yeah, that's what we were saying. We're like, the homies were like, man, we'll fucking, even if we don't sit, we'll go to the Budweiser patio at the Angel Stadium and just fucking drink.
Yeah.
Watch the game and shit.
Yeah, that's
so, it's all about it. It's just a good time, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of, you know, doing stuff post-COVID, are there any performances that you have lined up for the rest of this year?
Dang. I actually have one next weekend up in Sacramento.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with the page Brown Issues.
Mm-mm.
Their Instagram. You should check them out. They do, they talk a lot about like they're like activists almost, you know, like social injustices and shit like that. They bring up, they raise awareness to a lot of different situations. And so they're based out of Sacramento, I believe.
Okay.
So, but they come down here a lot to do different things. Like they had an event down here in Santa Ana one time too, where when they were protesting for the vendors, they came down here to support. They came down here to support and the Day of Unity. Mm-hmm. They came down here for that. They came down here for that this year and last year.
Nice. Okay.
You know, so when it's things like that, they love to come out because it's like that's what they're all about.
Yeah.
Community coming together, and so they want me to go out there and perform cultura.
Nice.
Yeah. They want me to go out there and perform cultura, and they're doing like I believe it's like a lowrider event, but with vendors and stuff. So
it's kind of similar to the Day of Unity last year too, right? They had like some lowriders and old cars, right?
Yeah, similar to that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do this weekend up in Sacramento.
Nice.
It's like, I think that's my first show. Like, oh no, well I had one in Ventura one time, but this is the furthest for sure that I'm going for a show. Mm-hmm. You know, cool road trip out there. Yeah. I'm thinking of vlogging it too and throwing the vlog out on my YouTube because it's like, why not?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Some people like to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And it's like a 6-7 hour car ride, so I mean, it passes the time by quicker if you're having fun with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a little card game or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Have some, I don't know, a little Q&A section or I don't know. Yeah, I like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be dope for sure, you know. And again, it's community things. I'm not too familiar with the community out there, but you know, they tell me that there's a lot of people that like that song, so it should be cool. And
there's like really, I think Sacramento's cool because I got to live in Sacramento for 2.5 years while I was in school.
Oh shit, okay.
And it's a very, how would you say, like the fact that the Brown Issues page came from there, like that makes sense because there's a lot of like socially active people, politically active people. Because it's the state capital at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? So like the governor and all the, you know, people who are supposed to represent us, a lot of their offices out there and they do meetings out there. So I felt like every other day, you know, there was people protesting something in the streets or in front of the Capitol building.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool, like, to be in that environment of, like, you know, very, like, conscious people, people who are also, like, down for the community. A good amount of Hispanics. I would say it's more, like, diverse up there. Because you do see a lot more, like, blacks. You see a lot more Asians, too, I feel like. But, you know, it's a cool community, you know. And definitely, they get down, I think, with, like, the movement. They'll for sure enjoy, like, cultura and, like, in these times and those songs, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed from going up there, in terms of, like, at least our people, like my culture, like the Hispanic community. I feel like they're way more cultured than we are. You know, like I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like they're more about the people out there.
Yeah.
Like they respect the culture more. You know, not to say that we don't.
Yeah.
Down here, there's a lot of areas where we do. I mean, look at Santa Ana. Just drive through Santa Ana. There's so much culture, but like it's more respected up there.
Yeah.
But I think it's also for the simple fact that they're more diverse.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's appreciated more, I guess.
Yeah. I think they have a greater sense of community too. I don't know for what reason, like historically, I'm sure there's a lot of different factors into it.
Yeah.
But I think like, you know, like here in Orange County, like you're right, like if you meet people from like Santa Ana or just other pockets of Orange County,
yeah,
you know, they're very like about unity, community. But then there's a lot of people too, if you branch outside of that, more South County, more like Irvines, you know, they're more about themselves and kind of like narrow-minded, I guess you could say, a little bit closed-minded. And so they're not as open to a lot of stuff like that. Where Sacramento, I just feel like a lot of that area. It's a bigger, you know, people forget it's a big city too. I mean, it's not as big as LA or San Francisco, but I think it's like the 5th biggest city in the state. So, so there's a good chunk of people in there, you know, and they deal with the same problems like every big city deals with a lot of homelessness or a lot of, you know, people like, you know, I don't know, just like not being able to afford things. So it's crazy, but you know, I mean, I feel like it's a very active city, but a very like they're down for each other, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about, because it's like over here, obviously we got areas like that where we're just so tight and you know want to come together, but then there's so many more areas where it's like they don't give a fuck about that shit, you know.
Yeah.
And over there, I felt like I haven't gone. I mean, I've been to Sacramento maybe twice, and it was like just like kind of drive-by type of thing.
Yeah.
But still kind of going through the city. My grandpa used to have like a tortilla route out there.
Oh,
so
yeah?
He lived out there for a minute. So I used to go up north with them a lot, you know, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But they lived in Sacramento. No, they lived in, they lived in Richmond.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They lived in Richmond, which is like Oakland area, you know.
East Bay,
pretty fucking ghetto.
Yeah.
And even there, you know, like, you just see people come together more than I've seen it here.
Yeah.
And we would go to Sacramento here and there, and yeah, you just see the culture, man. It's dope. It's definitely dope.
I don't know why, but like I definitely feel like the people are a little nicer up there. I think sometimes in LA and the surrounding areas, there's just so many people that it kind of breeds people to be a little cranky, you know? Like we're just like a little crowded too much. Where up there, I feel like I'm sure there's still parts that are crowded in San Francisco and like Oakland. Oh, yeah. But at least like Richmond and Sacramento, like they're not super crowded compared to how we live, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So just, I don't know, maybe because they have traffic, but it's not as bad as what it is over here, you know?
I don't think anything beats LA traffic.
Nah. That's like the worst traffic in the world, bro. Man. They don't really have public transport to help with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Over there in San Francisco, they do have a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
They got trolleys, subways, all this shit.
The bar system takes you anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
San Jose to San Francisco to Oakland. So that's crazy. LA's got to stay up on some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to catch up.
Do you have any dream destinations of where you'd like to perform at? Not just this year, but anywhere in general?
Man. Definitely New York.
Yeah.
Just because I know that's like the mecca for hip-hop, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm trying to go out there and do something.
Especially like the Bronx, somewhere in the Brooklyn, you know?
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah.
That would be dope. But if we're talking about like different like arenas or something, obviously to me, I would love to one day like sell out the Honda Center, bro.
Yeah.
Just because it's like this where I grew up, you know, like Orange County. That's like an arena known in Orange County, so it's like, why wouldn't I want to?
Yeah, right down the street, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you performed at like the Observatory and other places?
Yeah.
Venues around here?
I've done the Observatory. I did the Observatory, but I think my biggest was the Block Party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But I mean, that was not really like a band. It was on Flower.
Yeah.
It was on Flower and Civic Center. That was tight. Yeah, but fuck. And then I want to go to Japan too.
Oh, okay.
Just because I know like the Chicano culture is like heavy out there.
Yeah.
Real heavy. I actually have an aunt that lives out there. So I was talking about my grandparents living in San Francisco. She lived in San Francisco too because she went to San Francisco School of Arts for photography.
Yeah.
And she met a Japanese guy, and now he's like he's a pretty successful photographer out there.
Okay.
In Japan. But they lived here for a long time, and then when he moved out there, she moved out there with him.
Nice.
Yeah, and so she lives out there and all, and yeah, I just know that the culture out there is like heavy. Mm-hmm. They love lowriders, they love shit like that. Yeah. So I would love to go out there and perform.
I think that's cool too, because sometimes I always felt like lowriders and hip hop was such like an LA thing, but then you realize like as you grow older and you see different videos, especially on social media too, you see people like doing this stuff in down south or in different countries, and you're like,
yeah, it's crazy. Maybe it is like kind of where it originated, LA probably made it popular, I guess you could say, but there's a lot more people that appreciate it still, just like hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't think that like boom bap hip hop is still like popular in Germany.
Right.
And shit like that. Like I've been hearing that like, if you go to Germany and perform the shit that I like to spit, it's like they'll fucking go crazy for you over there. I'm like, what? Like, damn, for real? I don't know if you heard of what's his name? Sinaloa?
Oh yeah. I've heard of him, yeah.
He was putting me on game. He's like, because he's gone to Europe and shit.
Okay.
He was putting me on, telling me like, oh, they love hip hop out there, like
nice.
Like boom bap style hip hop, like they still love that shit. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to see, like even the way I've seen like pictures of the Japanese culture out there, like of the lowrider community and shit. Like they dress how like LA used to dress in the '90s,
really
type of thing. So it's like, it's crazy that they still gravitate towards that. Yeah.
That's pretty hard.
It's cool.
Going back to the other countries thing too, I remember when Schoolboy was like, before we got big, I want to say this was like after Oxymoron. Okay. A lot of his, used to be like paying attention to their tours. He had like a big part of his tour all in like Europe.
Yeah.
Like, he was in different parts of the UK, different parts of France, different parts of Germany, and I was like, damn, like they fuck with him that much out there to where he only had like 30 shows over there. And I was like, fuck,
Yeah, I hear that's like one of the best places to tour out there because like they fuck with all that, and there's so many little cities,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, and I've heard Texas too.
Texas
is a good one to go touring.
Texas is so big though, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like driving from one big city to another is like an hour and a half away, but there's nothing. It's pretty flat.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a trip.
I haven't been out there, but from what I've heard, I've had a few family members that go out there and they say the same thing.
Okay, right on. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you too during this interview was, on your social media, you post a lot of like the bike clubs that you got. You get the bike rides that you guys go on?
Oh yeah.
How did you get into that?
So the homies that kind of like started it.
Yeah.
One of them is DJ Omar God. He's a DJ for Curious.
Mm-hmm.
And I just seen him posting it one time, and I was like, man, that seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And this was I think I went like last October was the first time I went, and it ties back to the whole COVID thing. Like I hadn't done like shit throughout that whole time because it's like you couldn't really do anything. So this was cool. It was something new. I was like, okay, cool. This is like something I can add to my routine now. It was like, it's a Mondays thing.
Yeah.
So we pulled up out there one time, and bro, it was like so cool. Like I fell in love with the whole scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how like passionate people are about like the bikes and all that. Like I was like, damn, like I didn't know there was a whole community for this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, and yeah, I've been going ever since. But that's how it was for me. Shout out to Omar God. He put me on.
That's something I've seen in LA a few times. When like different friends have birthdays out there and we go out and celebrate. Okay. And usually stay the night over there. But like, yeah, like coming back like at 1 a.m. you'll see like the whole street, like there's a bunch of bikers.
Yeah.
They got like the nice lights on their tires and stuff. But it looks like a club.
Yeah.
But it's just all like cyclists,
Yeah.
It's kind of dope.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is like a club or
They just meet up.
What it is, but I mean they go by SoCal Clunkers,
Okay.
So to me it's like if they got a name and they're like established, like it's a club, part of a club. So it's cool. It's every Monday. You should come out sometime, bro.
Okay,
it's
I'm
dope
down.
as fuck.
Where do you guys usually ride through?
Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same time same places each time.
Not so they'll like we'll go through similar areas. Sometimes, but for the most part they try to make the route different.
Okay.
Every time. They used to. Well, I don't want to say they used to because it's maybe might happen again, but there's times we're gonna Irvine. And like one time we ended up in Newport, bro. That was bad.
Yeah.
I was fucking tired as fuck. Big ass hills and shit going to Newport.
Oh,
like damn,
shit.
It was all bad. It was fun though.
Yeah.
It was fun. Overall, it was fun. But yeah, They usually like do anywhere from like 16 to 18 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, okay.
But it's crazy though. You don't even feel it, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody like you end up if you're in the back of the group, you might hear like corridos. You end up in the middle, you're gonna hear like some funk. You're up top, you hear some hip hop.
Yeah.
You hear some oldies. That you hear all types of different music, different
nice.
people. You know, so it's cool. It's cool.
Okay. Monday nights, you said?
Yeah, Monday nights.
I'll have to check it out during the summer, man.
Yeah.
Summer rides.
Hell yeah, bro. It's crazy.
Do you have any other plans this summer, whether it's musically or just personally?
I just want to get the ball rolling on the singles,
mm-hmm.
and then I kind of want to do more corridos.
Okay.
I kind of want to tap into that scene more.
Yeah.
You know, just to test the waters a
yeah.
little bit and see what's going on with that. Other than that, I feel like it's just music, man. Music's like my main focus for everything. So it's like that's kind of what I want to work on the most. I was hoping to get a lot of shit done before the summer, just because I wanted to drop it before summer, so that like I feel like when you drop before summer and it creates a little bit of buzz, I don't know, I feel like summer kind of catches it more.
It goes into summer strong.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to catch the
Exactly. So that's what I was trying to do. I do still have a lot of shit. I probably have like 4 unreleased tracks right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got one that I got in contact with Immortal Technique. So,
oh, okay.
Shout out to Brownish just because they kind of like put me on too, you know.
Yeah.
With him, and then they kind of like shine light about me to him,
mm-hmm.
and then I got in contact with him, and I've been in contact with him, so I got a song that I'm doing with him.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, so it's like the ball's in his court type of thing,
mm-hmm.
you know. So just kind of waiting for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's probably another big focus that I'm trying to do this summer is features.
Okay.
The homie Gremlin raps. I don't know if you heard about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who does the Uber videos, right?
He does like the
IG.
Uber who raps and shit like that. Yeah.
I always like those, man. Sometimes
it's dope, man.
Yeah, it's a creative idea, and especially like, you know, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, but I know there's like those comedians that do that, right? Like comedian sits in. It's like comedian interviewing another comedian in the car.
Yeah.
And they just drive and he just talks to them, you know?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people like dig that kind of like in the car type of vibe.
Oh yeah, he definitely he created a dope concept there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be doing something with him.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one thing too. I want to get more features,
mm-hmm.
you know, especially with people who are bigger names or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's just I'm pretty picky when it comes to features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you trimmed down like features before?
Yeah, but not with like people who are like more well known or nothing like that.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
Like there's been times where it's like I'll hear it and I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes it's not even because they're not dope, but it's like our styles are completely different.
Mm.
You know, like I wouldn't see how I could hop onto his track, and I wouldn't see how that person could hop onto mine, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. That has to fit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one thing I always say too, you know, like, I don't like to knock anybody's music, because it's like everybody's got different estilos.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be people who like that, and there's going to be people who don't, you know, and that's just with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, I wouldn't like to say like, oh, it sounds bad, but
mm-hmm.
it's like, it's just, that's not what's going to fit with me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You got to know your sound and know what other artists too you might like sound good with, because if you just do it for anybody and I don't know, it becomes diluted too, you know, because people will look to you and be like, oh, like what, like this didn't sound like him, you know?
Yeah.
Different lane.
It's like how I was explaining with Frosty earlier.
Yeah.
Like I could have reached out to anybody who I know has a voice and can sing,
mm-hmm.
you know. But the thing about Frosty is she can sing and she's got a dope voice and she can also spit.
Yeah.
You know, and the song is like a very hip hop song.
Yeah.
So who better to understand it than someone who can sing and spit, because she loves hip hop.
Yeah.
know? So that's kind of tying back to that. That's how I get picky with
mm-hmm.
who I work with and all that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Good shit. Before we wrap things up, I do like to ask these fun, introspective questions. And since you've been on the show before, I do have some different questions. If I do ask something similar, just let me know, and I have another one. But Yeah. So first question: if you could be reincarnated to any animal, what would it be?
An eagle.
An eagle?
For sure, an eagle.
Yeah. A bald eagle?
Bald eagle.
Okay, right on.
Hell yeah.
If you could visit any time period in history, what would you want to go visit?
Ooh. Probably the Tenochtitlan days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see how the Aztec Empire was running.
Mm-hmm. Like at its peak, you know?
Yeah. Prime.
Yeah. I know, because like in the history books, we learn a lot about the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And Egypt, Greece too. And I feel like the Asian dynasties, but never really kind of highlighted the Aztecs and what they were like during their peak, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Kind of see how that shit went down with the Spanish invasion and everything, you know?
Yeah.
When they first
definitely
got there.
want to see that.
Yeah.
And just see like the city, you know, like there in Tenochtitlan. It was so crazy how they chose the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know if you're familiar with the history, but it's like
the serpent, right?
Yeah,
the eagle.
They seen the eagle with the serpent.
Yeah.
And the area was just so like unique. You know, they were on like water almost, like surrounded by water, so like it was easier for them to get water sources and shit like that. Like it was almost just so perfect.
Yeah.
And just to, you know, the way history says it, that like the God told them like that's what they were gonna see, and that's where they should stop. For them, they went like, fuck, I forget how much. I think it's like 20. I don't know if it was 200 years. But for them to have traveled so long until they found that, and it just happened to be like a really dope spot.
Yeah,
like, that's just crazy.
Because I think it was originally a lake, right?
Yeah, it was a lake.
They built like those rows of irrigation for like on top of the lake.
On top of the lake.
And that was
the city on top.
Yeah, but that's tight, you know, like they fucking did that shit back then too. Before like, you know, the big tractors we have now and all the different equipment that we have. So without technology, they're ahead of the game. You know?
Exactly. So I would love to go back and just see that, see all that going on.
Okay, right on. If you weren't doing music, what else do you think you'd be doing?
Man, I feel like I would have, at this point, I would have done something like what you're doing right now.
Okay,
like a podcast.
Yeah.
Just because I love music that much. Like I would have probably done like doing similar things.
Yeah.
And interviewing artists.
Okay.
Maybe doing like a blog. Like
a
hip hop blog. Shit like that.
That'd be cool, huh? Like reviewing music and stuff?
Yeah. Because I've thought about it. I've like, man, like I sometimes want to start like my own podcast. But then I feel like that kind of like takes away from being an artist. And you know, like I don't want people to recognize me or start following me because of the podcast. Even though like it's cool to have both lanes, you know. But like I'm just so focused on the music that it's like it would take away from that, you know.
Yeah. And I know like someone like Joe Budden, like a lot of people are familiar with his podcast, but he used to make music, you know. Yeah. And so like you can always do it like later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Yeah. Because like especially Budden, because he was in the industry and. You know, he was, I don't want to say he was ever, like, big, but, like, he was known enough to where, like, he has certain connections, and I'm sure he has certain stories to tell.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why his podcast is, you know, what it is today.
He's got a lot of stories.
Yeah,
exactly. That guy's always into something.
Yeah, man. If you had to have a last meal on Earth, what would it be?
Dang. I don't know. It'd probably be, like, a really, really nice steak.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like some really good steak.
All right.
With like some good sides.
Okay. All right. Last two questions. What are 3 things that you absolutely cannot live without?
Music, sports, and girls.
Okay. Music, sports, and hey, you know what? I think we have a lot in common right there. All right. Cool. And then, what was something that you the 2020, the year 2020, the pandemic, the coronavirus, everything, what was something that it taught you?
I think it taught me to appreciate the little things, man. Appreciate the little things more, because appreciate the little things outside of home and appreciate the little things at home, you know, because family getting sick. Thankfully, I didn't lose no family members, but family friends. You know, we lost some family friends, so it's like I was able to appreciate what I have at home more than just being focused on going out and focused on like just doing other shit, you know. I was able to appreciate what I had at home more.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing right there.
Well said. I think a lot of people will learn that too this year. Right on. Well, before you go, be sure to let people know where they can find your music, social media, YouTube, etc.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at doughboy.tony. You can find the music everywhere, streaming on all platforms. Check out the latest Corrido de la Araña, you know. Stream In These Times featuring Frosty. Check out the music video on YouTube. Shout out my boy Sigma who shot that. And yeah, go check all that out.
All right. Well, thank you again for having coming on.
You, man.
Yeah. Any final words?
Just everybody out there who wants to do something, you know, do your thing. You know, look at shout out Noah doing his podcast, me with the music. It's like, you know, nothing can stop you pretty much except for yourself. So just go out there and do the damn thing.
Put your mind, mindset. Well, sure. Thank you again.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Everyone have a wonderful day.